Truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
You're now listening to INCRadio United Kingdom Satellite Studio.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are in the world right now watching. And welcome to another show here in INCRadio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. And I will be your host for today, joined with my two beautiful sisters right here. My name is Brother CJ from the local congregation of Dublin here in Ireland. And I'm also joined by Ati Senli, also just Senli.
Yes. You always keep forgetting to say it's first name basis. Hi everyone. Thank you again for joining us and spending a little bit of your Sunday afternoon with us here on INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. And we know it's a very busy Sunday afternoon for everyone in the districts of Britain North, Britain South, and also in the District of Ireland. And we do appreciate spending a little bit of your Sunday afternoon with us. But before I could completely forget, I'm Stanley Grace Medina from the local congregation of Dublin South, from the District of Ireland, and I'm also joined with a beautiful I was about to say sister to beautiful Kim here to join us and co-host with us for this show. Kim, how are you doing?
Hi, CJ. Hi, Stanley. So, welcome back, everyone. I am Kim, and I am from the Liverpool Group Worship Service. So, here is what you will be expecting on our show this afternoon. So, the topic we will be discussing is friendships anchored in faith and love. And also, later on, after the topic discussion, we will be discussing the Christian Family Organization in actions.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's very
welcome back to you, Sister Kim.
it's a very like timely topic discussion, and we'd like to encourage everybody joining us on the live YouTube chat, and it's already popping. By the way, there's so many of our listeners and our viewers from the region of London and all across United Kingdom. To be honest, that they've already been commenting since I believe half 4 already, and they've been so driven to comment. But we encourage everybody to not only comment along their local congregations, but especially their point of view as we dive along and talk about our topic discussion, which is all about friendship anchored in faith and in love. So, firstly, we will be discussing it amongst ourselves here on live, but we'd like to ask everybody to answer along with us via the live comment chat. So, the first question that we have for ourselves is what qualities, let me just look that up quickly. So, what qualities make a friendship truly anchored in faith and in love? So, before I pass that along to my co-host this afternoon, maybe I'll get the ball rolling, right? Like for me, the qualities that always stand out for me that I know a friendship that I'm involved in is truly rooted in faith and in love is when it's my friends have a very compassionate kind of love, not only towards me particularly as an individual, but also how I am as a member of the Church of Christ. Most of my friends are members of the church, but some of my friends who I'm still trying to invite into the church, they recognize the importance of my membership in the church. So they know that my entire being and personality revolves around my activities within the church. So they're very respectful of the things that I do inside the church. That even in the beginning of our friendship, They know that whenever we're like, let's say, just sitting on the table about to eat something, that they know I'm gonna stop and have a quick prayer before we actually eat something. So like they recognize that already, and I'm so appreciative that like as soon as they see me like stopping for a quick prayer, everybody just stops kind of like talking, which I really appreciate amongst my friends outside the church, because they know that before I partake of a meal, that I pray before I eat the meal, and they're so respectful that way. And I could really recognize even from that small action that they respect my beliefs and my religion. So I really do appreciate that with my friends, although they're not inside the church yet. And that's why I encourage, like, I slowly try and invite them inside the church, even by posting uh, social media posts, because I know even through that way, they already respect me and the belief that I have in the church. And also my friends inside the church, obviously, that they are truly supportive of the offices that I have in the church, and how they value spending time with me, although the shortest time, obviously, because we're just so busy with our personal lives and also our life in the church. So for me, my friends are very compassionate people, time wise. I don't know how to like express it a bit better, but what about you, CJ? Like for you, what are the qualities that you see in your friends right now, that are qualities that you know are truly rooted in faith and in love amongst your friends?
It's actually almost similar to what you have, Sandy. I mean, for me, personally, having friendship, that is when you try to define friendship that is truly anchored in faith and love, it's always given that respect and compassion is there, especially boundaries as well. Um, when you have this friend that you love, trying to um, fulfill another obligations outside of your friendship or outside of your circle of friends, you'd always have to respect that. And it's a very general thing. I mean, not all friendships, to be realistic, have that kind of quality in their circle, but most of the friendship that I have anyway at the moment, through the grace and mercy of our Almighty God, truly have that kind of quality of respect and just compassion with one another. You know, the support as well that they give um, to each other, which is always a great quality when it comes to friendship. The support and the respect that you give to each other, um, it it always has its roots towards faith and love. What about our pretty lady Kim?
I guess for me, qualities I would say is understanding and patience. Patient, I think, would be the two qualities I would say that would truly say that friendship is anchored in faith and love. I think in all aspects of friendship, and understanding and patience is always a good quality to have. Understanding because I have friends who are not inside the church as of yet, and I have tried to invite them, but the understanding that above all else, it's always my priority to perform my duties like attending worship service. Even though they want to invite me on a Saturday, or right now on a Sunday, when they want to invite me for like a dinner or a lunch, I would always like, say I have church, and them being understanding and patient, because some of them won't understand because they don't have the same schedule as I do, that on specific days my priority is worship service. And I'm really proud of the friends that I have around me, because they're very understanding and very patient with me, because they don't understand sometimes the things that I do, but they know it's important to me, so they're very supportive of it. So moving along, so how can we recognize when a friendship is drawing us closer to God or pulling us away? CJ, what would you say is your answer for that question?
Thank you for that wonderful question.
It kind of sounds like you're about to answer a pageant question.
Because I was trying to look up I was trying to look up for the rundown and I lost it. But
is
anyway,
that is that you trying to take up the time
that's that's
to slowly
buying
formulate?
time. One one of the one of the techniques that they teach you in interviews. It's buying time. But anyway, if how can we recognize when a friendship is drawing us closer to God? I think it's quite similar to the question on regarding qualities. You know, when you once you have the qualities in a friendship that is rooted in compassion and support, not just in faith and love, but when you feel like within your friendship you have the kind of you have that kind of support, that kind of respect, you know, setting boundaries within each other. Once the people within that circle of friendship see each other as um what's the right term, when they start to see each other as, you know, valuable companion in this journey called life. Wow, I've never used that word in a long time. You know, when when the
We're so not used to this version of CJ. By the
CJ.
way, Kim, are you used to this kind of version of CJ?
I think he's just hungry. That's why.
For those who are watching and listening to us, this is very a very eloquent CJ you are watching and seeing, because this is a new version that we haven't seen just yet. Well, it's a good version, by the way. But
that's
yes,
why yeah, that's why I made it a point, Kim and Stanley, to have lunch before the show. So on the contrary, I am actually full um and happy. That's why. But anyway, as I was saying, when you have that kind of quality within a friendship, you know, you start seeing each other as valuable companions, instead of being, you know, indispensable individuals. So once you feel like you're being you're being supported in a way that keeps you in the on the right track, especially in the church, you know, because we follow God's teachings based on the Bible, which are taught to us through our executive minister in the church, in regards to performing our duties, how we live our lives as members of the church. When we lose sight of what we're supposed to do, true friends who are supposed to draw us close to God would immediately correct us and you know, bring us back to the way, to the path where we're supposed to go, as opposed to the friends on the flip side of that coin, where they would just let us be, not even, you know, not even asking us how we're doing, why are we um why aren't we now as active as we were before, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the whole thing for me. Yeah, that's me after having a bag of potato crisps for the show.
Well, I agree with that, CJ, with all the things that you've said. Definitely, for those who for those of us who has been, in a long distance friendship, because I could definitely say I grew up with Senli and CJ, and we used to see each other every day, performing our duties in the church, having a laugh in between of our duties, like, when we have food and everything like that. But, our duties isn't really kind of something that we find as a difficult thing to do. It's something that we enjoy. And for me, I recognize that, throughout the people that I grew up with, that help me draw closer to God is because they inspire me in performing my duties. Because, no joke, sometimes it's tiring too, because, it's a lot of um things that you juggle with, the duties and then your studies and a lot of that. And sometimes you get so overwhelmed, but then you see your other friend who's also tired and you just looked at each other, you tired today, and then you get that you get that good feeling that you're not the only one who's tired, but you struggle together. And ironically, it's fun. Like you see the struggles, right,
It's the
CJ?
nonverbal cues. It's the nonverbal cues.
Yeah, it's the side eye look. Like long day ahead. But we pull each other together, and I could definitely say that even if we're far apart, though we don't check on each other every single day, because we have our individualized life, like work. We just do our own thing. We know and feel that we always have each other's back, and we always check on each other. It might not be as frequent as before, because even adult friendships, definitely it's not as frequent as it used to be. Like for those young ones, that are watching this, that get to spend time with their friends every single day, definitely treasure that. Because in the long run, when you become adult and you're busy with your careers and stuff, it's not that frequent that you get to keep a friend even if you're far apart. Those type of friendship that even if you're far apart, or near, they always inspire you to perform your duties. And even like the monthly check, like, oh, how are you doing, how's your work been, how's duties been. And then all you hear is like, they, they update you, but then at the same time they remind you that no matter how busy the schedule is, they always think of you. And like, oh, I miss the days that we get to perform together. So definitely those are like, definitely that I could attest to, that showed me the friendships that made me draw closer to God. Suddenly, what would you say yours would be?
For me, like drawing from your answers, actually, I'd like to maybe speak to the young audience that we have currently right now watching us. And I think this is a point of view that I had to learn over the years. For me, like as you mentioned, those are the things that we recognize now as young adults, that we recognize as like the things that help us to see that it's the type of friendship that draw us closer to God. But there are things that I had to learn the hard way for me to recognize that it's something that will pull me away from God. So for the young listeners and viewers who are watching us right now, for me, the one of the things that I've learned through the years, and like maybe starting like from as early as Benhi members, for those who are tuning in and listening to us right now, Benhi members are the young baptized members inside the Church of Christ from the ages of 12 to 17. So as I said, like when I was Benhi, I remember having some friends, like friends in school that I recognize maybe are kind of pulling me away from what from my upbringing inside the church, is when I had to hide some parts of me that is about the church. Like for example, like even just the way that I describe the things that I'm doing inside the church, I have to adapt myself and make myself like the words that I use not churchy, so that I won't kind of like seem uncool to them. And that's me like maybe hiding a bit of myself just to appease them in a way, just to like be not be so different to them. So maybe for me, like when I was learning this and reflecting this back at this point in my life now, I feel like the friendship that will pull you away from our almighty God in our faith is when you have to hide your faith from them and the things that you're doing for the church from them, and you're not being completely open to them. And instead of being completely open, you're adapting to their lifestyle instead of you opening up to them about what you truly are doing inside the church. So for me, I had to learn that throughout the years, and also be open about it as I gradually open up to my younger or my adult friends. I don't want to hide that. The fact that I'm a member of the Church of Christ, every opportunity that I get, especially when I'm just starting a friendship, I always try my best to mention to them that I am a member of the church. I don't know if that like um uh uh also reflects on you guys, but do you also encounter something like that?
I get the same vibe. Because I'm more on the I share my faith very often with my friends. And it's the little kind of debate that we have, especially for those that, are not in the same faith as me. It's not debate, but we share the same love that we have for our faith. I think that makes me draw closer to God. For those that are not in the same, religion as I am, those who are not member of the Church of Christ, the friends that I have, um, the love that we have for God is definitely, they do inspire me to love my faith, love the duties that I've been, the the Christian values that I grew up with. Every time that I get to speak to them, how inspiring it is to be a Christian, you know, it boosts my membership inside the church. So, it the same aspect, the same vibe. You know me, Sally. I grew up with you. There's no
And
such
like
thing as being shy.
and I don't know if our listeners and our viewers also feel the same way, but like whenever I approach somebody, even though they're not my friend just yet, although it sounds a bit intense, but I always try and mention my membership. I want to make sure that it's front and center of who I am and what I am as a person. So they from there on, they could see what kind of a person I am. And like if I see that it slightly takes them aback, then fair enough, like I've done it, I've shared that I'm a member of the church. If somehow they feel a bit not too comfortable about it, then like it's up to them. Like, but I've done my part in making them aware of my membership in the church. And I feel like even that small step, I know that I'm drawing our little connection closer to our Almighty God, because I'm telling them that I'm a proud member of the church. So from there on, we'll go to the next question that we have, not only for ourselves, right, for all of us here, panelists, but also to our commenters and our viewers and our watchers. So the third question that we have is, in what ways does our relationship with our Almighty God shape how we show up in our friendship? I'll go to Kim. Kim, for you, how does your relationship? I know you've touched on this already, but how is your friendship relationship? Um, how do they um, shape? How does your relationship with our Almighty God shape how you show up for all the friends that you have, not only in the church but also your friends outside of the church?
I think it's all about, you know, every lesson that I learned from the worship service. One of the biggest thing that I always put in my pocket, or I always put the forefront of my head, is that I do everything with love, and that, you know, to forgive no matter what. Because, friendships are not perfect, and, sometimes you would have differences, and you get misunderstanding. And, being a human, sometimes our first course of action is being hurt and being angry. But then, you get reminded of the things, it's as simple as, following what Jesus has done. So, being forgiving, even though it's hard sometimes. But you always, since you do everything with love, and since, you love your friend, y- you always put your love first, and then you slowly give them that understanding, and then you forgive them. But that doesn't mean that you don't discuss it with them or anything. But I think those are like the main things that I've gathered, or like I've put into practice, um as I grew up, as I become more mature, is that even if it's difficult, that I would do everything with love, and that I would forgive no matter what. And I think that with my friendship, that's how I show up with my friendship, is that no matter what, like anything, though there would be a misunderstanding or anything like that in our friendship, it will always be understanding and forgiveness, because that's the love that I have received from our Father up in heaven, is that no matter what I do, he's always there to listen. So those are like, because he showed us what perfect love is like. So in return, I try to imitate it, in a sense that at the utmost of my being, my the fiber at the very tips of my being, that I try to practice, imitate that love of like big, like understanding, forgiveness, and being loved no matter what. But it's a constant lesson to be learned on how to uphold or upkeep your friendships. How about you, CJ?
I guess it's just to add to your point, Kim, that because it's always taught to us during worship services to in regards to maintaining the love of the brotherhood, our brothers and sisters inside the church, but also taking care of our fellow men who are not members of the church, which are manifested through our activities, the care for humanity and the Lingap in the Philippines. So it's always rooted from love, as Kim mentioned. Um, so when you walk in that path, it's very easy to show up in your friendships, and deal with stuff with friends, whether it be hanging out with them or maybe giving them support during difficult times. um it's always rooted from that kind of love and compassion that you give to your friends. What about you, Sanli?
I think our main point here for all of us anyway, like all of us hosts, is being compassionate and our love for our Almighty God, and like that's the same quality that I try and show up for my friends. Our as Kim and CJ has already mentioned, the love of our Almighty God is just so prevalent in all of us members of the Church of Christ, and that's the first thing that we bring to the table whenever we have different kinds of friendships in our personal lives. And it's always being like compassionate towards not only our friends inside the church but those outside as well, because that's the quality that our Almighty God continues to show us, that he's ready and willing to help us, all of us as chosen servants, and we want to show that same quality to the people of this world, so they continue to know what kind of people we are as members of the Church of Christ. And the greatest example of being compassionate and being loving is our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. For me, whenever we have an opportunity to attend worship services led by him, like even online, um, it's just so it's so obvious his love for the church and the members of the Church of Christ, because the words that he used is so endearing and so loving and so caring. I know, like the words that he expresses are majority in Filipino, but the terms he always used is so compassionate and so loving, and like it almost feels like, although he's so far away from us distance wise, it feels like a warm hug, because you just even through his words being expressed through a screen, you know that he's so he looks after all of us spiritually, all of us members of the church. And I do hope it's that same quality that I show up for all of my friendships that I have right now, is the same compassion. Although as Kim already mentioned, it's so easy to say, but it's so hard to bring to life, right? Because, like, we're humans, and there are some things in our nature that just goes against what we try to um yeah, we try to bring up, right? Like, there are times that we have to, like, I find myself sometimes a bit judgy, but I try to bring it towards to, like, okay, I'm not in the same position as them, so maybe I have to think about it this way and be more compassionate towards them. Maybe there are some aspects of their lives that I don't see and they don't mention, so maybe I shouldn't be jumping into a conclusion, like things like that. Because like humans, like, we try and think like, why are they thinking that way? It should be so easy. But no, like, we always bring it to a point that we have to be more compassionate towards those who are around us, our community of friends in the church, but most especially those who are outside of the church, because we don't know what path they're walking on. And there's so many influences that make life a lot harder these days. So the best way to go about life is to be more loving and to be more compassionate towards our friends to be, or the people just around us. And let's move along to the next question that we have. I know we've touched on most of the on the next few questions that we have, and I know our viewers and our listeners are so eager to join our discussion. So please continue to give your input and your comments. Our comment section is just popping right now. I would like to try and find the comments that I was like, "Oh, that's really good point," but there's so many comments that I can't read through them right now, but we'll find them. So the next question that we have for all of us panelists is, how can we maintain deep faith-based friendships in a world that often values convenience over commitment? So, Kim and CJ, who wants to go first? For you, how do you try and maintain faith-based friendships? Like, what are the like tips that you have for people? I know it's very hard to maintain connections, and I know Kim has already mentioned about this. Um, um, a lot of us have long distance friendships as well. So what do you do?
I'll actually start first because I think it's I have like a very personal experience in this regard, because I have a habit um showing up to people. I mean, I prefer showing up to people in person rather than FaceTime or video call or stuff like that. I'd rather go to them in person. I mean, I'd rather go to my friends, show up to them, talk to them in person rather than just on the screen, because it's just very different when you show up physically rather than just through the screen. You have you get more, you enhance that connection more um when you have them physically right in front of you rather than just through the screen. So I guess it's it's very it's one of the definitions of being of maintaining friendships in this world that often values convenience, because some people would just rather just text and just FaceTime their friends, video call them, rather than just go to place, meet up, hang out in person. And I mean, for me, if if they're really busy and they can't really see each other physically, I guess that's okay. But if it's something that they do as a habit, um, for me that's a big no-no. It's because it's very different when you really see them in person. You can really ask them how they are, and to be honest, my eyes hurt a lot when I'm on screens too much. So that's why I try to avoid using screens most of the time, and just and when when I want to hang out with my friends, I would literally ask them like, what time are you when are you free, when are you going to be, when can you be off work, so like we can go and hang out and see each other.
Yeah, like I feel the same way, but my thing is I'm very bad at staying connected via like messages and calls. For those who know me, I don't easily pick up the phone or quickly message straight away. Depends on like the contents of that message. If it's something to do with some office work, then I am as quick as as like really quick. But when it's about something personal, it takes me about 10 business days to respond to people, and my family and friends know that. But yes, for me, I prefer to show up in person and to um go to my friends in person and offer them support in person, be, because it takes me like there is something, it takes up a lot in me to remain connected via messages or FaceTime or video calls and stuff. So I'd like to show up always in person, but it's a work in progress that I'm trying to do, because like for us to maintain our friendships and our connections, obviously you have to maintain some form of like communication, right? So you just can't like burn bridges, is that the term? Like when people move away, like all, like just because people move away doesn't mean that the friendship is gone. We have to intentionally show up for people, even digitally, like through email, for like text messages and stuff like that. It's something that I'm currently working on, but for me, like uh for me to maintain a faith-based friendship, I not only try and bring up the positives of like positively show up for my friends, but also if there's something that they're doing out of character that they're not normally like that, I try to bring that up as well. Like for example, if I know some friends are slowly isolating themselves, and that's completely out of character for that particular friend, I I quickly try and just check in on them, because not only like I want to make sure that they're okay, but is there something that I could do and also help them out with. So for me, that's how I maintain faith-based friendships, and also just offer a quick advice if there's something going on that maybe I could help them out with, and also point out the right advice to them if it's a spiritual thing or a spiritual challenge that they are facing right now. Maybe I could point them out to a member of the leadership in the church that could help them out. Kim, what about you? Like, how do you maintain a faith-based friendship for you?
I am in contrast to both of you. I'm quite good with being online and following up on people. Um this is why I think I was an effective secretary back then. I'm really good with following up with files. And I'm the same with friendships. So I'm quite flexible. I understand my friends like schedule. So if there's someone who's able to, like, no matter, it's like, even if like CJ boy, prefers being, in person and hanging out, and he's really bad with replying and, talking with you online. He doesn't stay long. But with our other friends, like CJ, another CJ from Wales, she and I are very frequent callers and messenger messages to each other. But we have like those days that we don't talk. But I that's the main thing that I do, is that at some point within the month or within the year, that I would touch on my friend, like check on them once in a while. Just like, hi, hello, how you doing? Even if they don't respond, I would make sure that I would tap in. And I've, you choose the people that you've kind of spent your effort with. And I've kind of learned as I matured that not all the time can I be present for my friends, because I need to take care of me as well as an individual. Because how can I take care of my friends if I can't take care of myself, kind of thing. And also, there's nothing to tell if I don't get busy with the things that I do with my life. you know, there's nothing to spill if there's nothing going on with my life. Um, for our last question, I guess I'm gonna start it off, and also for our viewers, do answer this question. What practical steps can we take to be more intentional, loving, and faithful friends in our daily lives? So I need you to comment down below, what are your practical steps? I'm gonna search through it later on what your practical tips are. For me, I think intentionally, I think what I do in practice is that as much as possible, I would let my friends know that I love them. It might not be daily, but frequent, so that they don't forget. That's what I do to be more intentional with my friends. How about you, Sam?
Oh, before I go and answer this question, I'd like to remind all of those who are commenting and tuning into us on the live YouTube chat. Please don't forget to click the like button, everyone, because there's so many who are already commenting and hashtagging their local congregations, and everyone who is they want to give a big shout out to. But don't forget. We also like you to like the like button so that we could continue. You could continue showing love for all of us here on INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. And yeah, let me just remind myself of that question. So, practical steps we can take for to intentionally it's to be more intentional, loving, and faithful friends in our daily lives. Not for me, like there's no need to do like daily checkups, as you mentioned, Kim. We're just so busy with our lives, but when your friends, you haven't heard from your friends in quite a while, or even you find a moment when you're on the train or on your way home from work, and there's something that you've seen on social media that reminded you of them. For me, sending like a quick social media post that reminded me of my friends, especially if it's a funny thing. I always do that. I don't know if I do that. I always do that for Kim anyway, and a lot of my friends on social media, um, they know my sense of humor. So so if I send you a social media post about something really funny, you cross my mind, and you're the first person in my mind when I saw that social media post. And Kim is can attest to this, right, Kim?
100%. Like the most bizarre videos that I can ever find, I would send it straight to Ate to Senli. Um, well, that's what I call her on a normal basis, Ate Senli. But for viewers, everyone, that's just Senli. Yeah, that's our friendship. It's based on sending each other funny videos. It's the same with CJ here. Though he said he's bad with online things, send him some short funny videos and he will respond to it.
And there
Yeah,
are
and just a kind reminder to our friends who we send videos to. Can you please respond to them and just react and just react to them, just to make sure that they're funny for you.
Yeah, that's like a minute of my life, because I've thought about you and
Exactly,
send it to you. Make sure
Yeah,
you respond.
exactly. And that's actually one of my ways to check up on my friends, especially those that I haven't spoken to for a long time, because I'm not so good with words. So I just look up for some funny videos, or even like um Bible verses that are being posted in the INC pages, and just send it to them, and just that's like my way of checking up on them, because I'm not so good with words, to be honest.
and also, not only are we like, for me, I intentionally do that to my friends and my loved ones. I also share food social media posts. I always go like, can we go here, or can we make this? So if you ever get a post like that from me, that's my me showing up to our friendship. And my little way of intentionally showing up for friendship in your life. I know it's a small gesture, but yeah, it means a lot, especially on our generation now. That quick share button means a lot, especially now that we're just so busy with our lives. And yeah, that brings us to the end of our segment. So once again, we thank everyone for joining us for this part of our segment. As we reflect on the role of friendship in our spiritual life, let's remember that true friendship isn't just about shared interests or time spent together. It's about showing up with love, walking in faith, and encouraging each other toward a life rooted in serving our Almighty God. May we all seek and become the kind of friend who reflects our Almighty God's heart in every season of our life. I know that is the end of our topic discussion, but don't be afraid. We are continuing on with another segment in our program, which is the CFO in Action, or Christian Family Organization in Action segment, wherein we talk about the recently conducted activities in the districts of Britain South, Britain North, and also in our very own district of Ireland. So we are going to talk about two of our activities, right? CJ and Kim.
Yes, exactly. Sandy. So the first activity that we're gonna show to our viewers now is the activity from the district of Britain South, the district INC Music Collaboration. From the images that we can see there, with the brethren gathered in, I believe in which venue is it? Sister Kim, can you tell us about more of this?
I think the venue here that we're seeing right now is the local congregation of Battersea. And
Oh yeah,
also,
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Battersea, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, there you go. The brethren brought their musical instruments with them just to practice some music, and also to create some music as well, for the Iglesia Ni Cristo music original music video, and to produce some music, Christian music, to share with the brethren, and also to our fellow men who are not members of the church, so they can be also all the more inspired to listen to the words of God written in the Bible, that are taught inside the Church of Christ through through music. Because everybody listens to music and everyone loves music, and everyone who plays musical instruments, the brethren gathered in the venue, um, to yeah, to practice those some music, to compose, and to unleash their creativity um, in the field of music.
oh, by the way, let me just mention some of the photos that were included in the slide that were shown just a couple of minutes ago are also some of the photos from another venue, which is in the southern region of the United Kingdom. So some of our brethren, our brothers and sisters, also join in the activity and help along to collaborate. Especially those who are already musically talented, to reach out to those who are maybe still trying to learn a musical instrument, or still trying their getting a feel of what it's like to create songs or even bring together some lyrics. So our brethren from the southern region also join in through their venue there. Um, and yeah, we're so thankful to the church administration for allowing us to conduct activities like that, where we are able to exercise our musical skills as members of the Church of Christ. Now, speaking of music, we'll go to another activity, which is the musical evangelical mission of the District of Ireland, which you'll be seeing in a couple moments, and you will be seeing very familiar faces. And I know we are so excited to share our thoughts and our feelings about the activity, right? Kim and CJ.
I just saw Ati Yeye there, Sister Yeye, with her conducting, and I could say that that performance is already exciting me. I wasn't there to attend because we had our own here in Britain North, but definitely once I saw Ati Yeye there, I was like, those performances,
It's
Our
the
RB.
image you can hear, Kim.
Definitely.
It was
Exactly. The
it was
image you could hear.
actually yeah, it was actually amazing. I was there in person, and to be honest, it was just mind blowing. If I was if I was standing in the shoes of a guest, I could just imagine how they're feeling witnessing that for the first time. Because there were actually loads of guests who attended the event. Thanks to our Almighty God and to the brethren who invited the guests as well. And I heard through one of the guests that it was their first time witnessing that kind of performance, and they were just awed by it. They were just amazed, and it was a beautiful experience, according to them. So we thank the church administration for uh, approving these kinds of activities, and for us to be able to share our talents as well, to our fellow men, in our way to as a means to invite them to attend worship services in the church.
And also for those who have seen a little bit of the photos that we have circulating during the slideshow there, it's just a little teaser for all of the other photos and videos we'd like to show to you in relation to the activity. So please continue to tune in on the many social media platforms of the church so that you could continue to be in tune to the many activities not only happening here in Ireland but also in the many districts all over the world, particularly here in the District of Britain, North Britain South, and District of Ireland. So again, this brings us to the end of our program this afternoon. It went by so quickly because our topic is discussion was just so timely. But before we do that, Kim, I'll give it to you to do our closing statement.
Before I start the closing statement, I just definitely, a big shout out, just the one big one for me. Today's a special day. A big shout out to Jamie and Tristan for your engagement. Congratulations, guys. I'm getting too loud, but anyways, congratulations. So again, for those who have been with us and for those who have missed the show, our topic discussion was friendship anchored in faith and love. So make sure you definitely watch that first and watch our whole show. And also, okay, so before we end our program today, we first would like to greet our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for his 16th anniversary of his victorious leadership. Also, we would like to greet our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo. We would we would also like to say hello to Brother Wally Tare, our station manager, and Brother Montreville Boy, our INC Media Production Section Chief. And we would like to extend our warm greeting to our District Supervising Ministers of Britain South, Brother Harley Alcantara, Brother Anthony Pena, our District Supervising Minister of Britain North, and Brother Pepito Acosta, our District Supervising Minister for the District of Ireland. We'd like to extend our warm greetings to the rest of the ministers and workers in the districts of Britain South, Britain North, and Ireland. So, is there time for shout outs online, Sister Sen?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm so sorry. We don't have enough time to share our own personal shout outs, but you've been an amazing audience, everyone tuning in and listening to us on INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. And we appreciate all of your comments and all of your input all throughout our show. But this brings us to the end. Thank you so much. And this is the end for INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. Please continue to tune in. Next up is Italy North. So please continue to tune in. Bye, everyone. Happy Sunday.